And, this is obviously where the TV used to be. I used to sit on the floor right there and watch movies, and we had these TV dinner mats, and I would sit there and eat my food on a plate on a mat and watch movies, horror movies, obviously, and yeah. So I'll never forget making. We were making a model of the Psycho House, Safi and I, and then Cheyenne wanted to help me a little bit, and so that was really, really nice memory, honestly. Over here, this used to be the place where we had this really cool recliner chair. And I used to sleep in this recliner chair because it was so comfortable. And I would sit there and watch movies as well. And I kind of always preferred sitting here until I eventually sat over there, which is why you can see it looks like a fucking monster took bites out of it. Like, that's just because of being there so much. And look, there's the Bean Boozled wheel that I started eating because I was so hungry. And the Birds of Prey commentary, probably one of the worst commentaries I've done. This used to be where the main stereo thing was. I don't know if you guys ever saw that. My mom, her mom had this huge stereo system, and the main part used to be right here, and we used to put the iPad right there and let it charge. And over here, this is probably my favorite place in the whole house. And I know you're like, why, Marco? Well, it's because this summer. It's because of what I did this summer over here. So you guys know I've been making my first movie, and of course the fuckers who own this property, they ruined that. Well, they tried to ruin it, and so while I was trying to do that, I spent a whole month standing right here, and there used to be all this stuff here piled up, and I was making a model of the main house in the film because the main house, I didn't want to look like this house because I wanted it to be in Colorado, and this place doesn't look like it's in Colorado. So uh, I stood here for like a month, just coming and going and coming and going and standing here making a model, and it was probably one of my favorite things I've ever done. And I stood here, and this is where I painted my movie's poster, and I'll just never forget, like, we had these what do you call boxes that weren't ever used, and they were standing up here, and I had all my art stuff, and I just stand here and paint for hours and hours, and it was such an amazing experience. Even though I was watching Better Call Saul while I was doing it, the shitty episodes. And then I watched The Offer right here, which was very inspiring because I was watching a TV show about making a movie while making a movie. So over here, this is my workstation. My oil pastel spilled all over. Unfortunately, I need to get that. Oh shit. It's my second grade yearbook. I almost forgot. Oh shit. See? So, oh, it's so beautiful out right now. This used to be the vantage point. This was where oh, no, okay, you got the wrong idea there. This is where I would play video games. Can't use two hands right now, like I usually do. Wink, wink. Um, Safi would sleep on this couch. We need to get a couch just so she can sleep on it, honestly. And because I guess we're not going to keep this couch. It's a little old. It would be nice to get a couch exactly like it, though, because I really never had any problems with it at all. I have a really big problem with textures. I imagine textures, and I can imagine chewing on these textures and running my fingernails on them, and it gets really, it makes me, it makes me cringe in pain. And so I have like a texture sensitivity. And so I was really happy when we got rid of this ugly ass green felt couch and we got this one instead. And I remember the first thing that I ever did was watch some episodes of Leave It to Beaver on this couch. And oh, that's my PS3 box. I might take that. And that's where the PS4 sat and the PS3 sat. And oh, there's so many memories from here. Oh, it's just too much to even talk about. Like, you see all this stuff and it's like it reminds you of stuff, but you can't really put it into words. There was this one time where all our relatives came over, and well, some of them did, and we sat around on this couch and we watched Motel Hell, which I sadly got rid of the VHS tape, but I definitely will be getting the Blu-ray because I do love that movie. And that was really fun. Something else I used to do is whenever I got sick, I would come down here and I'd just sit in here and watch movies. And I remember one time specifically, I was feeling really sick, and I got up and Safi was in here, and she was eating ice cream, and we went ahead and put on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the Johnny Depp movie, and I watched that while I tried to feel better, and it's too bad. I just hope in the future that I can build a replica of this place, because honestly, I don't really care about it being this specific place. I just care about like replicating it exactly. It's kind of like, let's say you want a picture really badly. You don't really care if you print out the picture or you get a professional glossy picture. You just want that picture. And that's kind of like what it is for this house. Like, it's just such a perfect place. It's perfect. It could use some work though, but it's just perfect in terms of so many memories that you can't even. I mean, this house has been around since the 1800s. A lot of other people. This is just me. A lot of other people have stories about living in this house, and I remember the one time that I was sitting here watching House of Dark Shadows, and the family that used to live here in the 40s or 50s came, and they looked around the house just because they wanted to see it again, and and I remember they really wanted to go upstairs, and Safi wouldn't let them, and I don't know. It's just like, it's like tons of people have lived here. They probably have a ton of stories. I bet a lot of them have ghost stories too, especially because of that 666 on the entrance to that room, which I literally didn't notice until last week when I took a picture of it. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else here. Obviously, I watched Class of 42, last commentary I ever did here. I'm going to go ahead and take this book. This is Oliver Stone's memoir. I never read it because I hate reading physically. I prefer to read via an audiobook. So I think that's about it. God, I hope we can get a couch like this. Exactly like it. I think that's it. I think that's the last story that I have here to share right now. I have a bit of a headache too. It's just I didn't know if I would get another chance to film here because we'd just be so busy taking everything, we wouldn't really have time to film. So, I think that's about it at 777 Hilltop Road. Unfortunately, this place is evil, and I do believe that 100%. I mean, if you just go down the line, almost everything that M&M's said, almost everything you can confirm. And that's the scary part, is that, you know, she can't read my mind, and she knew all this stuff. It's really creepy and cool at the same time. Oh, and there was this one other time where it was so cold. Well, there were a lot of times where it was very cold because the people who own this property, they were very negligent, and so there were multiple times where we lost heat during the winter for weeks and weeks and weeks, and we just had to sit in here and freeze. And even a heater wouldn't really do very much. It was so cold. And there was this one time it was so cold, we hung up blankets to like trap the heat in these rooms. Like it was really, and that used to be another thing too. The very interesting thing is that it used to always be really cold over here where I would work at the computer, and it would be so cold that my hands would be freezing cold. And then also in my room upstairs. And it's interesting that those two areas that I frequented the most, those were the areas with the cold spots, because M&M's did say that there were cold spots in this house. And cold spots, I guess it's like, it might be where portals are. I'm not certain. So I gotta go. Please like this video, comment, tell me what you think, and then please subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see more awesome videos on YouTube. Goodbye, everybody. See you soon.